I think DeFi is real, and some of those projects will fail and some of them will become huge multi-$100 billion operations. Non-fungible tokens, I think, are real and meaningful. And I think that anybody who's younger understands that digital assets have the same value. You know, you and I may buy a t-shirt from a designer because we kind of want to affiliate with that designer. It's a $2 piece of cotton and we'll pay, €2 piece of cotton, we'll pay €100 because, it's bullshit, right? We all know it, but we kind of want it. There's no difference in the digital world. So an art is basically, a painting is a piece of canvas with some paint on it, total value, €20, but it could be worth 200 million euros. There's no difference in the digital world. When people argue about that Beeple piece that sold for 69 million, firstly, it was 5,000 pieces of art. So each individual piece of art actually wasn't that expensive, if you consider the man hours put in to create that. And just because it's on a different medium, people are like, well, it's worth nothing, it's digital. Well, basically canvas and paint is worth nothing as well. It's all in the art and all in whether a collector wants it or not and what perceived value they have. So I have no issue with NFTs, and I think they're going to develop into all sorts of ways that we don't yet understand. The other thing that's coming is community tokens. You and I, if we're having this chat in 5 years' time, we'll both have our own community tokens, whether it's a Real Vision token or your own token, and that will come with member benefits. We are going to disrupt. Content creators are going to disrupt Google and Facebook, where they accumulate a large part of the revenue streams that we can generate. That's going to go.
Can you walk me through how those community tokens
I thought
work?
You'd be interested in that. Basically, let's say you are a Cristiano Ronaldo. You have probably a community of 300 million people, something like that. So right now, to reach his community and to monetize from it, he uses Google and Facebook, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, etc., and maybe uses TikTok. And so the community runs via that, and usually it's advertising and brands. So he will be paid to advertise for Adidas or whoever he advertises for, and he will then get the images out, etc. And that's how he makes extra money on top of his salary. In the tokenized community world, he has a direct relationship with his community. So he can create Cristiano Ronaldo boots himself and sell them to his community directly, to an audience of 300 million people. He can also give community holders that token that allows them discounts into his games or membership to any club that he chooses to become a player in. They can also maybe have value in terms of the number of goals, because they're all programmable. You can have however many goals in the season, it reduces the supply of the tokens, let's say, so the value of the tokens go. Who knows? Anything can be done. It can be maybe that he wants to corral people into a charity project. So he puts that as part of the programmable coins because he believes in tiger conservation in India, whatever it may be. We can do anything. And that is very disruptive because right now it's brand, platform, and they take a large part of the economics, and the person in the middle. It's most extreme in music, where 80% of the economics is taken out by middlemen. So this is all changing very fast. The other world that is changing very quickly is probably ahead of all of this, but nobody realized it because none of us are 16 years old, is gaming. I mean, there are yield curves on swords in games. And a 12-year-old kid will understand if he lends his sword out, he's going to get paid X tokens. Right, we're like, oh, look at DeFi, isn't it amazing? They're already doing it. They're already got interoperability between games. You can go between metaverses. You can earn money entirely within an ecosystem and cash out into fiat. So they're so far ahead, and half of this stuff is being built on the blockchain. Didn't all start on the blockchain, but it's now all coming with Ethereum-based tokens and the whole lot. So that is moving at a lightning pace. And the other one that's coming is the tokenization of assets. So why that is important is I live in the Cayman Islands, and this is true everywhere in the world. is we've got a bunch of real estate that happens to be 7 Mile Beach, which is much more expensive than everything else. It's the prime real estate. So the average person can't afford to participate. So the rich people build apartment blocks, all make a fortune, and they keep getting richer. The poor people are renting expensive places out away from the beach, and they can't participate in that, so it's hard to generate more wealth. But imagine if you can tokenize that real estate and allow the local pension plans to own parts of it, or even the individuals themselves. So now they can invest like a billionaire. So they can make money from Picasso going up, or the Ferrari going up, or the real estate going up. So then there's no difference between rich and poor in terms of the opportunity set to invest. Okay, that's fascinating. That solves a lot of problems too. So I think I said 4 things. It's those 5 things that I see as the really big things, and I think they're all going to merge. Regulation is so far behind what is going on. Again, go to the gaming world where there is gambling, there is earning money, there is all of this stuff, right? It's non-regulated. The gambling side is slightly regulated depending where it is. It's all non-regulated. So it's moving really fast. Regulation is so far behind, they still are calling things securities versus non-securities, which is rules that came out in the 1930s. Right? The whole regulatory rule book is going to get ripped up and thrown out and redefined. It has to happen. This is not a marginal thing that's coming at the peripheral of the financial system. This is most likely, in my view, to be the future of the entire system. So you're gonna have to rewrite the rules. That's okay, but they're a long way behind that. But they will get it once, the ECB, the Fed, and everybody else start introducing digital currencies. They're going to realize that that whole world is gone and everything has changed. So, the whole regulatory rule book is going to get rewritten over the next 5 to 10 years. So yes, it's slow to get stuff like real estate tokenization off the ground. Certain jurisdictions can do it, certain people can't. That's okay, it'll come. I think there's too much happening already to keep our eye on than having to think about all of this as well. I think everybody thinks that there is a reflation that is going to be meaningful. I think, and I've seen this my entire career, and most of the time, no, never in my entire career has there been any sticky inflation. The last time we had sticky inflation in the Western world was in the late 70s. Why? Because we had a record number of people who were all the same age coming into the workforce, buying their first house, car, suit, blah, 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 getting married all at the same time. Right, that demographic, the baby boomers, are now retiring. So in Germany, they're older than they are in the US, but they're all in the retirement phase. We chucked in a load of millennials, particularly in the US.